life gets pretty lonely after the age of 45. Like, right? I don't think as women we really understand how different the world treats us because we're pretty women. And because one day your looks are going to be gone, you're going to get no attention from men. Like 40 to no men are lining up to date 50-year-olds.
It's a good thing I got personality then, isn't it?
Yeah,
That won't work. That won't work. We don't care about personality.
Guys. Do you care about a girl? If a girl doesn't look good, do you care about her personality?
Of course not.
Yeah.
What really. Are you guys
but
looking?
if you're trying to wife someone, why would you not care about their personality?
No, I said if she. I'm careful with my words. If she doesn't look good, you have to start with looks.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, for women, you're looking at it from a female point of view. For the men, it starts with looks. It starts with sex.
So you have to understand something. Before you try to speak, you have to understand and accept what we're saying to you. It starts with looks. It does.
But why?
It does, because before I even come and get your number or even want to speak to you, I've assessed the way you look. So if I didn't like the way you look, why would I come and speak to you? In order for me to know your personality, that would involve us having to work together or be in a scenario where we can speak enough for me to know your personality. If a guy comes up to you out of the blue and tries to speak to you, are you going to, oh my God, he's got such a handsome personality? You don't know his personality. All you know is the guy that's approaching you, and whether or not you want to accept his approach or not, listen to him or just give him air. So your first attraction is based upon, in that aspect, in a nightclub or outside setting, based upon attraction, because you don't know what the person's personality is.
And for females, I feel like a guy has to give a certain image before you even take him into consideration.
Are you pressed?
I'm not pressed. And that's the thing. Girls always like to say, are you pressed or has someone hurt you? But no, that's just the reality of it. Like for me, I'm a short guy. I'm 5'4". For me, if I approach a girl in a club, I'm not likely to get the same reception that my brother would over there because he's taller than me and he's more built. Do you get me? I'm short and I'm small. So it's like, it's going to be harder for a man like me to move to a girl because she's going to look at me and be like, that's not really my type. She won't even give me the initial, like, I don't know, the initial.
But you see, my brother, yeah, you see that type of, that blatant look, you just assessed yourself when you said, right, these are my strengths, this is whatever. Men, we have no problem in doing that. Do you understand? We can look at another guy and say, right, this guy is in comparison to me or whatever. His strengths are my weaknesses or my strengths and his weaknesses, right? Women will look at themselves and they won't do that same assessment. And it's that little bit of, you have to have humility and humbleness and you'll get better results. But us men, we can do that.
I feel like women can too.
Every woman that says they're 10.
No.
Huh?
When you ask a woman, what about I'm a 10?
Not every
I feel like there's a little animosity against women here.
Okay, sorry, Pearl, can I just say something? Okay, so before, I want to tell you a little bit about me. I have 3 sisters. They all married, all with child. My mum and dad are together. They've been together for over 40 years. I come from an African traditional upbringing. My dad is the chief of all chiefs. He was a diplomat, very educated man. I have 3 nieces that I all directly look after. When it comes to women, I'm a protector. I'm a lover of my women. So we take it quite insulting when a woman says, "Oh, we feel as if that you're any type of hate towards women," because having a criticism or but what I'm trying to, any type of animosity or anything, that's not what we're here for. What we're here for is to show how much love we have for women. In actual fact, we need to have these conversations. So I take it quite personally when people try to create that image or perpetuate that image, because if you don't know, I'm actually a very much supporter of women and we protect our women over here. So I just had to just say that.
Did you know that women find 80% of men as unattractive?
I didn't know that.
So have you ever heard the girl say like medium ugly? Like, oh, I gave him a chance. He was medium ugly.
I say cute ugly.
Yeah. It's like, no, sis, that was just your level. Because women find 80% of men as unattractive. And the question is, if you find a guy attractive, he's probably the top 20% of men. Are you top 20% of women? And that's what we have nowadays. And you can get this data from dating apps because women only swipe right between 5 and like 20% of the time. And if you ask 100% of women what they want in a man, they list 20% of men. That's where you have eternal like side chicks, basically. Okay, so we agree you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. When does a girl become a hoe?
You're shocked. You want to take that?
I think to a certain degree, it depends on who you're asking, right?
I'm asking you.
Asking me for me.
Can't skate.
No. Yeah, like I said, a girl that just sleeps around. If she's not interested in making a connection with a guy, and she's got the mindset that she can be like men, where she can have sex without having any kind of emotional attachment to the guy, you know, then and she's not concerned about racking up guy after guy after guy. And to me, I consider that to be hoish behavior. It's not behavior of a woman who's really interested in the long term. She's more interested in the short term.
Do you ask girls what their body count is?
Nah.
No.
Nah.
Do you?
No.
I never have. I don't feel like that's a good question to ask because if you do, it's always going to come back with a negative response or a lie.
But Pearl, the reason I don't ask is because we don't have to ask.
Mm-hmm.
So there's certain questions you can ask and you know the body count. There's certain reactions that women with high body counts give off, and there's certain energy. So we can just already we know.
So I want to ask the girls, do you feel like, because as women, I think we know a little bit more behind the scenes than men typically do. Do you think that men can tell a girl's body count based off of like your friends and your friends' friends?
To a certain extent.
Yeah?
To a certain extent.
What extent?
In a way where there's a lot of girls that I knew back in the day that had no intention of sleeping around, but maybe they might have been with friends that have possibly done all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it makes it seem as if like you do that shit too. Sorry, am I allowed to swear? Sorry. You do that stuff too. So it kind of gets looked upon like you're one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So no. But
Yeah,
like
but at the same time, birds of a feather do flock together. at
they
times.
do. But
Right.
why can't it doesn't necessarily have to mean that the girl's doing the
It
same
doesn't
thing.
necessarily mean it, but sometimes you have to carry yourself with the kind of people that you want to be like. I don't know how to say it, but
So if you're with the hoes, you're a hoe.
So when the police pulls over your car, if he pulls over your car and 3 people in the car have known to for drugs, you're gonna get searched as well. That's because you're in a car with 3 people that are known for drugs. You know, a lot of times in your area, there can be one good boy, you know what I mean, and he has some friends, but just because they're friends, you'll stay together. And your mum might say to you, "Oh, stop hanging around with those friends, stop hanging around with those friends, because they're not like you." But you hang around with their friends because they're your friends. Whenever you get stopped or whatever happens, you're gonna be they're gonna treat you the same, and that's because a lot of the times mud sticks. So if you don't want to be known as a hoe or if you don't want people to treat you like one, then if you're hanging around with girls that are a lot of hoes, then it makes it a lot harder for you to be the one that's actually different. You know what I'm trying to say to you? So it doesn't mean you're a hoe if you hang around with hoes. Like there can always be one good girl that generally is a good girl. But by rule of thumb, you might not want to hang around with people which don't have the same type of interests or activities as you. That's me personally.
I hear that.
What are you doing when they all go out and they're upstairs in a room with Mandem? What are you doing? You're downstairs.
Playing solitaire.
I was about to say playing Nintendo Wii, but
No, playing solitaire. Sometimes you're just minding your business, and maybe when it comes to like having sex with boys, that might not be the same topics that I might not be into. But like behind closed doors, when we're not talking about boys and we're not talking about sex, there are like typical topics that are like, yeah, this is why I'm your friend.
So whenever a girl gets a man, most girls have always got one whole friend. Most girls always got one whole friend, and they know they're hoe, and they don't like to admit they're hoe, but they're their whole friend. And whenever they get a new man, a lot of the times the man will clock this whole friend, and he'll say certain things, and you know what I mean, he'll be like, "Oh, that your friend." He's not trying to call your friend a hoe, but you don't want to call your friend a hoe to your man. But we all know, and you know, as a guy, we always have to deal with that, and a lot of times those friends don't tend to hang around for too long after that person gets a man or whatever. It's because your whole life doesn't represent what they live anymore. You know what I'm trying to say to you? Versus she wants to be going out and doing certain things, and now you got a man, and maybe your man don't want you to be there because she's rightly single. She can go out and, you know, interact with other men and be taken to tables. But if you're out with her now, you automatically put yourself in a predicament where other men can now start speaking to you. And if she is a hoe and known for being a hoe out in the club, every single guy in there is going to see you as a hoe. And there's nothing worse being seen as something that you're not and people treating you like that. And your man hearing that, oh, your girl's out with some hoe in a nightclub.
Do you guys think it's appropriate to go out in a relationship?
Yeah. Why not? Is that a bad thing now?
It
Is that a
depends
thing
how you
now?
conduct yourself when you're out.
Well, what are you going out for?
What?
You got a man.
I can't let my hair down for 5 minutes with my girls.
It's like why are you fishing if you don't want to fish?
But who said I
don't
was
go out to
fishing?
fish.
I was having a good time.
Oh, so what'd you go out for? Yourself?
To have a good time.
yeah, but is that no? Seriously, is that a thing now?
I mean, that's just I'm just telling you guys how men view it. Like I'm just being honest. Like I listen to guys talk all the time. Like if you're going out all the time, it's like
But not all
you
the
can,
time.
You can say like I'm not a hoe, right? But if all your friends are hoes, You're going out to the club all the time. It's like you're dressing like a hoe, acting like a hoe. It's like, how are they supposed to think you're not a hoe?